everybody, Mrs. Cat here to walk you through how to graph data for your mass and change lab. This is a little different than what we've done before because we're going to put two trend lines on the same graph. So I'm going to use some sample data and show you how to work this. Now, you're going to have a blank spreadsheet that shows up in your assignment that looks exactly like what I have here, where you have these areas that are shaded out because you are not going to put data in there. But what we're going to do is put volume and mass data for two different samples of metals into the same chart. We're going to put all the volumes into the same column, and then the mass of metal A and metal B will be in two separate columns. So I'm going to go ahead and input my volume data and mass data for metal A. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 milliliters. What you'll notice here is that I have this set to give me 1 decimal point based on what my measurement device was. So what you're going to see here probably when you input your data is going to be that you're just going to get that whole number. The way to add that decimal point is if we have here in our menu bar, you've got two options, decrease decimal point and increase decimal point. You want to click the one that has the arrow pointing to the right, and that's going to give you an extra decimal point. Okay. My mass data here, I've got 1 gram, 2 grams, 3, 4, and 5 grams. Okay. Again, I have this set to have 2 decimals because of the balances that we have in class that those data points are measured on. Those are going to have to the hundredths place. So again, if you just input those masses, you're not going to get the decimal places. So you're going to have to click on increase decimal twice to give you 2 decimal places. Okay, same thing for metal B, but this time we're going to put our second mass set for metal B in that unshaded area in column C. So my volume measurements this time, I'm going to use 1.5 milliliters, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, and then my last one is going to be 6.5. Okay. Mass data here, 3 grams, 5 grams, 7 grams, 9 grams, and 13 grams. Again, one more time here, I set this so that it had 2 decimal places. You want to do that by hitting the increase decimal button twice. Okay, remember, because Google Sheets is numerically based in as far as what we're trying to show with a graph, we want to make sure that when we're ready to graph, we're only highlighting numbers. So I'm going to highlight all of my numerical values and those blank shaded spaces. Okay, once I have that highlighted, I'm going to go up to Insert, Chart. Now again, it may or may not pick the right kind of chart for you. We're looking for a scatter plot. So what we're going to see here is that, move my face, that we've got a scatter plot that's already chosen. Now, if you don't have that, please make sure that you choose a scatter chart. You should see 2 sets of dots, okay, one for metal A, one for metal B. We want to make sure that we've got this set up the way that we need to. So I'm going to zoom out so we can see our whole screen and that we are not missing anything. So what you'll see here is title is not exactly what I want it to be. We're going to edit that. We're missing our y-axis label, but everything else that's on there right now looks good. So all of our other things that we need to do, we're going to be able to find under the Customize menu in your chart editor. So let's start with our chart and axis titles. I'm going to click on my little arrow to open that menu, and then I can select my chart title. Here, I want to change this to mass of metal in grams versus volume in milliliters. Okay, change that, it'll change it at the title. Now to add my vertical axis title, I'm going to go back up to that same spot, and now I'm going to click on vertical axis title. Here, we want to make this mass in grams. Okay, we don't need to say mass of metal, we don't need to say mass of metal A and metal B because it's just mass. Okay. That'll take care of our titles for both the chart and for our axes. Now, if I minimize this chart and axes title menu, I can go back down one to series. If I open up that series option, we're going to scroll down until we see trend line. We're going to check trend line. We want to make sure that it's set as linear, which it is. And then again, like we did in comparing volume, we want to make sure that we show our equation. So under label, please choose use equation. And you're going to notice here that we should have two equations. I'm going to increase my font on this a little bit. So I'm going to change the size. Okay, so that we can see our slope-intercept form for the trend line equation for both of our metals here. We're going to use this data to do our analysis after everything's complete. Okay. Hopefully you're going to be all set with this. If you do wind up having any questions, please reach out to your chemistry teacher. Thanks.